music.
Batty's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the podcast where we say it's not you, it's us. To each minute of Batman Forever, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And bringing you the eyes, the lips, the body. It is I, John Parker, your other host.
You know, the candles, the music, the sexy dress. What's going on here? But, once again, we're joined in actually playing themselves still. Well, at least I think that they still are. All the way, once again, from Mad Max Men, we have Julia and Rick. How are you two?
Hello. We're very glad to be wrapping up this week with you guys.
Yep, we are. We are here to become the light on the dark side of your podcast. Because did you know that when it snows, my eyes become wide and the light that you shine can be seen?
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah. I'll compare you to a kiss from a rose on the gray.
Hey.
Because that makes a lot of sense.
I like to secretly think, like, Kiss from a Rose is actually... Like, the only other memorable kiss in this movie is when Two-Face blows that kiss to Batman. And for this whole time, everyone's saying, like, oh, I guess that song's about Chase and Batman. It's like, no, it's actually about Two-Face is the rose.
Like, I feel like that song should be playing in this scene. Am I wrong?
Exactly. It should be playing at some point in the damn film.
Because you've already you set precedent that, like, you can have pop songs in this. You had friggin' Flamin' Lips and friggin' like the Offspring in this movie at one point. Now you got two spin-off singles that don't show up to the end credits. Like, why not during Dick Grayson's Joyride? Why wasn't it U2 playing? Why not have like an instrumental version?
Yep.
Of Kiss from a Rose right here, right now. But,
just a nice piano cover of Kiss from a Rose playing underneath this entire... As soon as we cut to Chase, boom, kick it off.
That's a great idea, actually. A piano cover of it, no vocals. That'd be fantastic. And then in the credits, then you get the full version.
I get that thing they always do in Disney movies. That I know someone, she said like her favorite genre of music is the covers
at the end
that are done at the end of Disney movies, because obviously throughout the film you'll get like the actors singing, you know, Colors of the Wind or whatever, and then in the end credits will be like Mariah Carey or whoever actually doing it. But she said like, yeah, that's my favorite genre of music is the covers that the actual singers do of Disney classics.
It annoys me. I mean, it's funny, but at the same time I'll be listening going, this isn't as good as the one that was just in the film.
I agree.
I just love that you used Colors of the Wind as your example, because that's the one Disney movie where Mel Gibson does a voice.
Oh, I didn't even connect the dots myself. Oh
right, and get this. I just, not 2 days ago, watched that film for the first time.
Oh,
really?
Man.
Never
we watched
seen
it for a hiatus episode when we were visiting Julia's sister's family down in Virginia. So we were in the setting for the movie. We were like, 10 minutes out of Williamsburg?
No, we were in Williamsburg.
Yeah, we were in Williamsburg proper, watching a movie about the Virginia settlers.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was surprised that it wasn't quite as racist as I was expecting. Like, I thought it was going to be kind of firmly on the side of the white man, but it wasn't.
I do, though. I mostly remember it now, though. Oh, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't also mention that Christian Bale is, of course, in Pocahontas as well. So there you go, Batman connection.
Everything's connected.
I know Lindsay Ellis, acclaimed sort of YouTube media critic. Lindsay Ellis did a big review. I think John mentioned Pocahontas in several videos, but like her major beef with it is like, it's actually very homophobic because that main villain is very blatantly supposed to be gay.
Oh yeah, that's classic Disney.
Yeah,
gay coding characters that are villains.
Yeah, there's actually like Scar's another one too, because he does that whole like, oh, I must remember to curtsy and all that sort of business. The queer coding that's within there, and that guy's very blatantly with like the color of his outfit and like little bows in his hair, and
See
she
how
kept
I
showing a
glitter.
clip. Yeah, that clip, she kept using that clip over and over again. So that's my main memory of Pocahontas now. I was like, oh yeah, the one with that guy in it. But of course, he does not feature in minute 84 of Batman Forever.
We forgot to introduce the minute. Sorry.
Hey,
But,
once we went like 15 minutes before we introduced.
This minute begins with some body objectification, and it ends 1 minute later with a smile that will live in infamy. I feel it's well, the thing I was saying last week. The nothing like a bad case of gas, maybe the worst line in any Batman movie. The end of this minute may be like, Batman and Robin gets pretty bad, but I don't know if it ever gets as bad as this. Like,
You can just pretend that grin was brought on by some kind of Joker scheme, right?
there's so many comments to make just on the way the grin itself is delivered. Like, but we'll get to that when we get to the end of the minute anyway. But should say though, because now Chase Meridian is she's talking about like waiting for this moment ever since she's met him, and talking about like your eyes, your lips, your body. And you can't help but feel though, you're just like, well, it ain't his body. Like that's like this isn't, as Adam West would put it, like, oh, he didn't make molded plastic to secure my physique. That was
Pure Kilmer.
But this is like, he could take off that suit and you don't know what the hell's going to be under there. Like, could have a weird elbow. You never know. Like, God knows what's going to be there.
Oh, one thing that we
Heaven
were
forbid.
deprived of by cutting the sex scene is her taking off his chest piece and him just kind of going, "Bleh," and his stomach just kind of inflating. Like, yes,
Zap
all of that
Brannigan.
stuff does keep it all held in.
He's just got he's got a corset going on. He's really strapped down.
But I have to say though, one thing we've never brought up about Nicole Kidman as a person is that her father is actually like an acclaimed psychologist. Sort of bizarrely enough, considering she's playing a psychologist here. But yeah, her mother was Janelle Ann Kidman. She was a nursing instructor, and her father was Anthony Kidman, who is the author of such acclaimed books as Schizophrenia, A Guide for Families. And yeah, he's a biochemist and published clinical psychologist. So I have to wonder did Nicole Kidman get any tips from him when she was playing this role? Because I don't know if she would go oh, my father used to always fetishize the local celebrities. That's what clinical psychologists do with the people they're studying.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Because this is full on we've brought it up before, but I'm interested in the mind of Batman. It's it really seems like you're just really horny for black rubber. That's all it is. You can go over the mental scarring and whatnot, but it's it seems like you just got a kink and that's it. You, as a rounded psychiatrist yourself, have not worked through it.
No, that's true. And, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Just admit it.
Yeah.
Just you be you.
But the thing is, then she ends up delivering a bombshell to Bruce here, or to specifically to Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Get it right.
technically,
That's a
she wouldn't deliver a bombshell until 2019 when she starred in the movie Bombshell alongside Charlize Theron, who played Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road.
Everything's connected.
And Margot Robbie, who played Harley Quinn. And still
Can't
is
turn
playing
it
Harley
off. I can't turn it off.
But the thing is, what she actually says then to Batman, this is brutal, I feel, though. Because she's just talking about meeting someone. Oh, that's fair enough. But the fact that she says the line, I guess a girl has to grow up sometime. It's you imagine you're coming oh, I'm gonna hook up with this woman who really wants me, and then she's turning me down and says, it's pretty much indicating that would be the juvenile choice for me, would be to go with you, because it would demean you so much to be yeah, you're the immature choice. A girl's got to grow up sometime.
I get that, but at the same time, she means because Batman, he's not real, is he? It's like a fantasy. She doesn't want the bad boys no more. She's I need to actually find someone real and proper I can have a relationship with. You can't have a relationship with this guy who swoops in your window in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
That's weird. So it is kind of juvenile, isn't it? It's like that's what she thought she wanted. The mystery.
It's like
body.
what's the list of that people have where it's like, oh, this is my list of celebrities, the exemptions or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's like a name for that list.
There is. It's failing
Yeah.
me, but there's a name for that list.
There
Like
is.
Batman was on her list, but now that she's in his present, she's like, oh, yeah, no.
And I think that Bruce needs to hear that. Bruce thinks that this whole Batman shtick is okay, where it's actually not. It's not healthy emotionally for him. He is stuck in a revenge from his childhood. He is stuck in juvenile thinking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's
And you
sitting
don't
there
want to be
like-
dragging other people into it.
He's like, the last woman I was interested in was really into the suit, so maybe if I just stick with the suit, that'll get me far.
It seemed to be working so far, to be honest. So,
That's like actually that was a good way of putting that though, Julia. Because then Bruce is a guy within the next few scenes going to attempt to move on from his own. So her saying a girl's got to grow up sometime, it's kind of like it might be hitting him in the level of like, I guess I've got to grow up too. Like I gotta pack in all this crazy crap as much as she does.
He probably should be, let's be honest. As much as we love Batman and doing these movies, realistically, he needs to be calling it a day.
Listen to the old Kenneth frequency over here. We're like, oh, Batman needs a hand in the towel.
Plus, we all know that she only really got turned off because of the weird elbow. She saw that and was like, oh no.
But that's the thing, though, because like then she does the ironic, like, oh, the old Lois Lane routine where she's like, he's not you. And it's like, oh, but it is him. Like, what are the odds and stuff?
Whoa.
And the thing is, like, I think it would be much more interesting, but it would have to be a very different movie, I guess, where we've mentioned throughout that Val Kilmer's kind of playing Bruce Wayne and Batman as the same kind of, the same performance, basically.
Yeah.
Like, when he's out with Chase, he just acts like he would act like when he's Batman. And it's kind of baffling in the movie because the press seem to regard Bruce Wayne as this really charismatic lad about town and whatnot, and everybody loves him, even though he seems to be the most dour, stony-faced, most boring man alive.
But he's rich.
That is true. But it would have been interesting, though, if it was like he had been a really different kind of guy when he was out with Chase, because he was putting on a Bruce Wayne performance.
Yeah.
And he was really like, chatty, kind of, different kind of person. And then Chase is turning down Batman, saying, well, he's not you. I've fallen for this Bruce Wayne guy. But Bruce Wayne is actually the facade. And the Batman is the only part of him that's actually like a real person. So it ends up in the end then when it's like they hooks up with Bruce and she's like, I should be honest with you. I'm actually just this really stony faced kind of guy who's just like very somber and monotone in my delivery of everything.
I am so glad we missed out on Bruce having a date with Chase, but having to duck into a closet every 5 minutes to change into his Batman costume.
Yes.
The Mrs. Doubtfire version of Batman.
Exactly.
That's like that was on the table, but Robin Williams took that with him when he was like, I'm not doing your movie. I'm taking the dinner party scene. Bruce's reaction. Well, I keep saying Bruce. Batman's reaction. Because he's like asking, oh, can you understand? And I can't tell if he is genuinely, like, if this is, he kind of does a little head motion. I'm not too sure if it's him actually expressing relief.
Oh, yeah.
Or if it's like a performative, like, oh no, oh, I'm so taken aback by all this. Like, he's putting on a little show for Chase's benefit.
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both, isn't it? Because, like, she is genuinely so apologetic, which is nice, actually. She's like, oh, I've been screwing you around here. Sorry about that. But inside, he is like, yes, I've won. Screw the bat. So I think it's a bit of both. He is performing for her, but he can't help but let a little bit of his emotion slip out. Like, yeah, ha, ha, ha.
Oh, man. We kind of miss out on Batman being... He only says, as I understand. He could have said, I understand, who is it? And then she would say Bruce Wayne, and Batman could have been like, oh, I lose so many women to that Bruce Wayne.
He's so rad. I hear he has a cool BMX bike and everything, too.
Hell yeah, it's all about that BMX. That's how you get it. I haven't wasted my life.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, again, there's a major departure here in the novelization. At this point, Chase Meridian still has not connected the dots between Bruce Wayne and Batman. I remember when we had on Clarice Lockery, her major beef as a fan of Nicole Kidman was her major problem with Batman Forever was like, it's so ridiculous that a trained psychologist cannot piece together that this is in fact the same man. And when she's dating both of them, kinda. And the thing is, novelization, they go in a grand old departure here, where it goes in the exact opposite direction in that regard. Because when Batman, instead of all the things we're going to be talking about in a minute, when he actually moves to leave, it says he never uttered a word. He merely moved backwards and out. He stood in front of a window and seemed to recede out of it. Chase went to the window and watched him swing away, cape flaring out behind him. And then she goes over to her dictaphone to make some notes. And then she says, I was right. I figured it out. I saw Bruce wade into Two-Face's thugs in the circus. I heard his voice, saw his eyes, his chin, studied his body language. I don't know what I want. I've gone through life so obsessed with trying to figure out what makes other people's minds work. I don't feel in touch with mine anymore. And whenever I spend time with Bruce, I see something there. So much inner strength, and at the same time, someone who needs so much himself. And when I started to figure it out, the first thing I thought, God help me, the first thing I thought was that what an incredible opportunity this was. To study him, to see behind the mask. He wasn't a person or a human being. And then she realized her voice was choking up even more, and tears were streaking from her eyes. And then the other day when he was here, I was playing with my suspicions, teasing and pushing at his mind. And I looked into his eyes again, and I didn't see him. I saw myself, and everything mean-spirited and self-centered I'd been so horrible to him. He needed me. He needed to be loved for himself. He needed me, and I was playing goddamn head games with him. What kind of a doctor am I? What kind of a human being am I?
Ooh, that's a bit harsh on herself.
Yeah, and then she completely breaks down.
I don't think it's that harsh.
And then she says, if I told him I'd figured it out, if I then told him that I loved him, he might not even have believed it. Hell, I wouldn't have believed it if I'd been him. Thank God he came as Batman, so I could speak to the mask instead of to Bruce Wayne. Maybe he'll believe. Maybe I've managed to undo the damage I've done up until now. Maybe now we can start talking to each other instead of at each other. And then after this, she takes out the tape and throws it into the fire to get rid of it. And the entire time, Batman's actually across the way watching her. And then he says to Alfred, he's got like a little radio mic set up. Alfred says, well, how did it go, sir? And Batman says, exactly as I thought it would. And Alfred says, did it? And Batman says, she knows. She's figured it out. Alfred says, well, sir, it would seem the two of you are well matched. And Batman says, you might be right. And Alfred says, I do not deal in might-be's, sir. And Batman says, I'll remember that. And so they've gone down Peter David has gone down the route of not only has Chase Meridian been intelligent enough to see the forest for the trees and to figure out, oh, this guy, this one person she's been obsessed with is in fact the man she's dating. But they've also added in this layer of like, oh, she was actually like, she knew for like quite a while, and she was just sort of kind of playing around with him and teasing, like for her own clinical interests and stuff. And it's like that's a really different version and very interesting version of the character, I feel.
Yeah. It definitely gives her more credit.
It makes her more interesting.
Yeah, I like that she was actually intelligent enough and good enough at her profession to suss that out. Because to us as viewers, it's just so clear that they're the same person. The thing that the ethics of how she was behaving are pretty not great.
Yeah.
They're pretty bad. She was purposefully using her skills in her profession to trick him, to get him to unwittingly tell her information, to confirm information for her especially on someone that wasn't an actual patient of hers. It's not great.
Yeah, I feel like if Nicole Kidman ever read the novelization of Batman Forever, she'd be like, why couldn't I have played any of this?
Yeah.
This is clearly the better character.
It's definitely a lot meatier.
Yeah, because I think even if you look up, well, to be fair, if it's only on Wikipedia, but if you go through Nicole Kidman's Wikipedia entry, it says, like, in 1995, she played Dr. Chase Meridian, the damsel in distress character of Batman Forever. When, like, they have just boiled it down to, like, that's all she is. She's just the damsel in distress. And I was like, yeah, and I imagine that really, I do know that does sting with Nicole Kidman, because she's mentioned in several interviews that she hoped that she would be able to do more in the film and stuff. But yeah, so it's just, I think that's a good way for it's a wise decision by Peter David to be like, you know what, I'm changing this to just like, of course she freaking knows it's Batman, and you know what, I'm gonna add a little meat to her bone as well, and maybe at the end, you know, it'll be sort of, instead of her just being a one-dimensional, oh, she needs to be rescued kind of thing, there'll be guilt involved in it, and a sort of redemptive part of her coming to talk to Bruce about his problems and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, so it's one of those things, like, twice this week now, we've had that deleted scene with Kenneth Frequency in the first minute where it's like, why the hell wasn't this in the movie? This is way better. And now, third minute, it's like, yeah, actually the second minute too, the friggin' Riddler having the little mind melty thing that he had. And now this is like, yeah, there's all of this stuff was on the table and ready to be played with. And this movie just didn't pick it up. And it was just like, nah, we're good. We've got enough here.
It would definitely make her more interesting, but this scene does as well, somewhat, I think. Because I think it's nice to see this shift in her character and her acting, because she genuinely looks so sorry without hamming it up too much. Like,
she
I
is
am
an
getting that
award-winning
vibe off her.
actress. Like,
Yeah.
Like, over the course of her career, she's got like 93 wins for like various things. She's got an Oscar. She's got like several Golden Globes, Primetime Emmys, BAFTAs, AA CTAs. She got an award from the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. Like, she's no slouch.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, she's proven it here, because she's actually being given something to do, and she's pulling it off.
Yeah.
That's just the fact she's saying she's so sorry as well, John. I just imagine Batman being like, okay. Do you mind if I use your bathroom for a minute? She's like, what for? Like, what do you think? And just goes, I'll be a minute. Don't you judge me. I know you finished up earlier too. Like,
Oh my god. Oh no.
no. But of course, then so we do get this the break between Batman and Chase Meridian. She's given up the old rubber-clad ghost, it would seem, and decided to go with Bruce Wayne. I think actually in the drafts, it's in the novelization and one of the drafts of the script, where it notes that Batman's supposed to look over at the table where all the previous, Batman stuff that she had.
It's in the Goldsman one.
Yeah, and apparently it's all been replaced with articles and pictures of Bruce Wayne. And that's still not healthy. Like, that's like you're a psychologist who is obsessing about one person. And to kind of like, to the point of almost sort of stalkerish behavior. Where, to be fair, Bruce Wayne does have that weird gif of her on his computer, I guess. But
imagine you'd been going out with someone for like, how long's this been? A week? 2 weeks? And you go over and they have got photographs and articles all about you just stuck up on their walls. It's like, oh, whoa.
I mean, it sounds like teenage girl behavior, putting up posters and pictures on your wall of the person that you are enamored with in popular culture. So that could be another level of the, I guess, I have to grow up sometime line.
That's true.
Where she's like, okay, I'm going to take down all these posters and be a bit more tasteful with it.
Well, that would be an improvement. I say an improvement. At the same time, I like that being in the film, because I think the character we're presented with is bizarrely unhealthy and not very good. She's good at her job, but not at applying those things to herself, which I suppose is realistic.
Once again, we're left with a potential for a much more interesting scene where Joel Schumacher is like, nah, yeah, we're fine. We got this. We got this friggin' thing we're about to land on you right now. Where Batman turns to leave, and then camera close up on his face, and the music goes a little bit silly. and then he gives this really goofy grin.
My God.
Which is goofy grin with the deadest eyes.
It's too much, isn't it?
The thing is, I remember in the cinema, like when going to see this when I was, I guess, like 7 or 8, and I can only 2 memories of seeing Batman Forever in the cinema for the first time was just at the beginning when the logo came up in Forever and everyone applauding in the cinema because it was like, yeah, it's a Batman movie, whoa! And then I remember everybody bursting out laughing when he smiled, because I guess maybe the Joe and Jane lunch pail, who aren't big Batman fans, they're just like, it's funny, that's goofy kind of thing. Whereas, like, imagine if you were a big Batman fan, or if you were just a fan of the 2 Tim Burton movies, you'd be like, what the hell is this? Like, why are you going for this note? It's too silly. It's too cringy, basically. Unless is anyone here a fan of the smile? Do you think, like, the smile is one of the best bits of the whole film?
Right. Technically, it's one of the worst bits, but I absolutely love it because it's so stupid. So I'm sort of torn.
The only way I can excuse it in my own mind is that because it looks so unnatural, like it looks like really good. It could be that in his mind now, Bruce Wayne's like, okay, so I guess I need to be a normal person. I've never smiled before. Maybe this is him practicing.
Oh my God.
I guess this
Oh
is
my goodness. Oh, that's great.
Like in Terminator 2.
Exactly, yeah. He's like, I guess this is, people do this, don't they? This is a thing you do when you're happy. It's like, I also am a human. So
recently, for one of our hiatus episodes, we watched Long Shot that stars Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen. And one of the quirks about Charlize Theron's character is that she has a very unsettling wave.
Oh, yeah.
Like, her hand stays still and she does a lot of elbow movement. And it's one of the, background details where over the course of the movie, she's like learning how to wave better like a human. So yeah, I definitely get that vibe where it's like he's been grimdark for so long and he's like, all right, how do I express happiness while I'm still dressed as a bat?
That's the best he can do.
But yeah, it's the only excuse I can give for this, because beyond that, like, Batman smiled before in comics, but it's usually like a smirk. It'll usually be like he has the upper hand on a crook or something.
Yeah, like a cheeky grin.
Yeah, it'll be like a one side of the mouth going up, kind of like, all right, I got you. Like a satisfied smirk. But this is just like Goober Town, dopey. It's the fact that his eyes are so dead as well. Like this, it almost feels as if Val Kilmer was objecting to this, and like everybody on the studio was like, "This is going to work. Trust me, this will be a big laugh. You have to do this, Val." And like after hours and hours and hours of him stropping and refusing to do it and stuff like that, it was just like, "I'll do one take." And this was what they got. It's like, I'm not giving you my eyes. I'll give you, my mouth is going to move into the shape of a smile. And that's the only part that's going to move. Everything else is going to remain exactly the same.
You have to pay extra for the eyes.
Both of them, too. Like, I'll give you one if you throw in an extra thou. But of course, yeah, then that is, this minute draws to a close then with the, like, I think, the thing is, I would say, I'm so harsh on the smile because, like, I know that Batman and Robin's going to get really bad, and there's going to be a lot of goofy crap in there. But I think it's because this movie has so much potential that when it stumbles like this, you're just like, oh, come on, it's more annoying. Whereas with Batman and Robin, you're just reveling in how awful it all is. So it's like, just do whatever stupid crap you want. It's great.
I suppose it stands out more in this, doesn't it?
Yeah. So this is, again, this whole movie has just been like the Batman Forever, the movie that almost was good, but just kept doing annoying things that just prevented it from actually being a good film.
Yeah, I think Batman Forever definitely suffers from having to follow up the Burton movies and try and hold on to as much of that feeling as they had before. And I think you need this in-between space to flex out of Burton fully into Schumacher by the time we hit Batman and Robin. And I know it's a bad movie. Batman and Robin is not a good movie, but it is a fun and funny movie.
Oh God, yes. It's a riot.
So I, for one, am looking forward to season 4 of the podcast.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, at the end of the week, we'd normally ask the guests about their history with the movie and their opinions of it, though. So, I'm assuming, Rick, you seem to be very pro, anyway.
Oh, yeah, I've got no problem with Batman. Other than I like to rag on him for the Kenneth Frequency stuff.
But do you remember when you first saw this movie? Like, were you in the bag when it came out and stuff? Or...
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
What year did this come out?
95.
Yeah. I was the perfect age range to see Forever and Batman and Robin in the theaters. I was a little young to see Batman Returns. I had to see that one on VHS, but I was the perfect age to see these movies in the theater, and I had like the full range, any action figures I could get my hands on, the fast food restaurant toys, all of that stuff. I had a Batman toy that was like one of my favorite ones of him with the spring-loaded wings.
Oh,
that spread out. And that was like one of my favorite toys that I played with all as a kid. So I was like perfect age range for this.
I was perfect age range to not care. I was a 14-year-old girl when this movie came out. I remember the Seal song. Like, that was a big part of my 90s experience. But this movie definitely was not.
Well, that raises our other question. He's not in... We didn't bring it up earlier now in the first minute we were doing.
Oh, yeah.
The 90s. Think about... Well, you're quite, actually an excellent age for this question. The 90s. Think about what was attractive. Chris O'Donnell. Sexy or not sexy? He's 90s hot, right?
He's 90s cute.
He has the benefit of not having blonde hair, at least.
Yes.
That does help.
But,
Niall is very confused by this. He didn't understand that, in the 90s, this is the kind of guy people like.
I just find him very bland. I just think, I don't understand.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
Just, like, really discovering this season that people thought, like, oh, he was hot stuff. And it's really just like, he's just the most average-looking person I've ever seen in my life. Like, if I had to cast someone as white bread, that would be, if Chris O'Donnell could play a loaf of white bread. Like, he strikes me as that kind of person. Like,
people were into boring, generic white guys who pretended to have a bit of edge.
But then, I'm assuming, Julia, that you've only seen the movie recently then, if you didn't care in the mid-90s.
I'm trying to remember when I first saw this movie. I'm sure that I did see it in the 90s. I imagine this is the kind of movie that my dad would have picked up for Blockbuster on a Friday night and we would have watched over the weekend.
It's perfect for that, to be fair.
Yeah. But I can't imagine seeking it out because I'm not a Batman fan.
Yeah.
So I definitely wouldn't have sought it out. But I think other people in my family might have enjoyed it. So yeah, I can imagine I probably saw it in the 90s. It was probably a Blockbuster rental.
And so, like, watching it as a fully adult woman now, do you have any sort of warmth towards it at all, or is it just like, oh god, no, this is a flaming wreck of a film?
I feel no warmth towards it whatsoever. I do recognize that, it's a fine film. I do recognize that other people like it. The only reason I don't like it is because I don't care for Batman.
Okay.
But do you recognize it's definitely worse than the last two, right?
Yeah. I'm also not a fan of Val Kilmer as Batman.
Ah.
I think...
to be honest, I wasn't coming into this, but
he's grown
changing
on you.
my mind. Yeah.
I definitely think Michael Keaton was a better Batman than Val Kilmer. And in theory, George Clooney is a better Batman than either of the previous two. I'm not sure how that really worked out, but in theory...
Okay.
But anyway, I think has everyone got the last of their thoughts out about minute 84? Anyone else want to bring on up anything we've not mentioned yet?
All tapped out?
Yeah,
I'm good.
I think we're good over here.
Yeah.
Just thankful we were able to come and contribute to this.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Of course, you guys are welcome back for the bottom of the barrel next year.
My gosh. I think Uma Thurman might be my favorite part of Batman and Robin, but I also have a deep and abiding love for all puns.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot to love as far as I'm concerned in Batman and Robin.
I think Uma Thurman's the thing I'm most looking forward to, because I think she knows what she's in. I think everyone else is kind of like a bit clueless as to what's happening. Like
Arnie doesn't know.
Yeah, I think Arnie's just being Arnie.
Yeah.
He's just like, all right, I guess I'm doing this now.
I will admit,
And then
though, not my favorite Bane portrayal. That's a different actor altogether.
Oh my god, what a shocking twist to not enjoy Bane.
Who could have ever known that the guy who talked about Fury Road would like Tom Hardy's portrayal of Bane?
I love the way when he's in Dunkirk as well. He's just doing that. He's got a mask on, and you can't understand him. It's not like this.
I just
his
love
last
how
night.
in the Harley Quinn cartoon, that's the direction they've gone with.
Oh yeah. That's what I was going to say. Actually, last night I watched pretty much back to back, like season 2, episode 2 of Harley Quinn, and the Lego Batman movie. And it's just like, oh yeah, this is just Bane now to people. Like they've got Doug Benson and doing this voice, and then in the Harley Quinn show, yeah, he's back with that silly voice. It's like, that's it now. Tom Hardy has forever left his stamp on that character.
Yep, that's how I'm going to see him from now on. And I've seen Bane, going back years.
Yeah, but one thing we have to resolve before the end of the week is, of course, the answer to the riddle. So I'll shout it out again. So people can be refreshed. But I know, Julia, you feel you might know what this is. So riddle me this: a woman gave birth to 2 sons who were born in the same hour of the same day of the same year, but they were not twins. How is this possible?
Was the woman the doctor?
No,
Oh.
actually no. But that's actually that would have been a pretty. Actually, well. No, those they're delivered at the same time. I guess you'd have to be delivering 2 babies to 2 different people.
In the same hour. An hour is a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
That's
people
true.
give birth really quick. Some people don't, obviously.
Yeah. And I mean,
Oh, I know the answer.
oh, go for it.
They're triplets.
That's right. Yeah.
I was going to let you off anyway and say, well, you've basically got it right.
I think it's technically your answer is like, oh, that one works too.
That's better.
But yeah, the answer is that they were 2 of a set of triplets.
Ah.
The answer came to me because I have a coworker who tells jokes all the time, constantly. She has a joke book on her desk. She makes
God.
them up. All the time, and it just hit me that is one of them. She has
really
told
hope
that
that
joke
you-
at work before.
I was really hoping that your coworker was just going to be a female version of the Riddler. Just like,
She's always showing up wearing green with question marks, and she's got a weird cane.
Be wary.
She is a bit of
Does
an
every-
oddball. I think she could qualify as a female version of the Joker.
I was just being like on the way to the break room, and she's like, Julia, riddle me this. Do you want anything back from the?
Whenever any of our executives come visit, she always tells them jokes. It's fantastic.
Oh, well, on those bombshells, we will head off into the dark, dark night. Would you like to remind people where they can get your wonderful show online and whatnot?
Certainly. Everything Mad Max Minute related can be found at madmaxminute.com. You will find links to all of our social media accounts, as well as all 4 of our released seasons. We have gone through each one of the Mad Max movies so far, and we are currently releasing hiatus episodes once a month on the last Wednesday of each month, where we watch a movie that is tangentially related to the Mad Max movies in some way. Don't worry, we explain it. It's not so random that you can't follow the byline.
Hey, I'd just be up for you talking about anything. So it's fine. There doesn't have to be a link. But check it out, everybody. Come and check us out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those things. TeePublic, buy a t-shirt. So yes, join us next week for more wonderful Bat-Minute action.
Next time, more misery for a mutilated miscreant. Tabloid touting of a survival that defies belief causes the crazed kernel of clefness to be consumed by grief. But while the forlorn lackey of Lady Fortune believes his luck's to be hexed, can a snapshot from a bat-brained cortex make him feel vexed? Find out next week Same bat pod, different bat minute.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.